Tonight, we are hearing from a 7-Eleven clerk who shot a suspect in the stomach after police say he attacked her over a counterfeit bill.
You tell me something and you're acting on it, I'm gonna believe you. And he had my neck in his hands, the very thing he said that he was, yeah.
It's unfortunate she didn't shoot him twice.
The case of Stephanie Dilliard, which is now once again bringing self-defense while at work into the limelight. Welcome to another installment of the Connecticut Gun Bench. Today's video is brought to you by P.A.N. Firearms LLC. P.A.N. Firearms, your NRA certification of multifaceted gun training. You can reach us at 203-300-6343 or use our website at www.panfirearmsllc.com. As always, there'll be a link in the description box below. And if you like channel, like content, what I do, you can support me with a link. Everything's appreciated. Online store is open. CGB20 will get you 20% off, free shipping. Connecticut residents, you got to pay the sales tax. I can't help that, but CGB20 will get you 20% off. Let's talk about this. And this is a story breaking 2 days ago. A young woman was working what apparently was the graveyard shift at a 7-Eleven. Man walked in, tried to pass a counterfeit bill. She refused to accept it. The man made idle threats to her, and then he acted upon them. She then used her legally owned firearm to defend herself and ended up shooting him in the stomach. Unfortunately, there were other consequences that came up because of her actions in defending her own life. Let me go ahead and give you details.
Fox 25's Rob Hagan joins us live tonight. Rob, I hear she just got some news from 7-Eleven.
That's right, Wendy. Good evening. Now, Stephanie Dilliard says 7-Eleven corporate called her today and fired her for using her own gun in self-defense. They say it's against company policy. She says she's lucky to be alive. 25-year-old Stephanie Dilliard was a 7-Eleven clerk who faced terror after she says a man tried to strangle her after she refused a counterfeit $100 bill for burritos, beef sticks, and ice cream. It happened Thursday, just before midnight.
He threatened me, said that he was gonna slice my head off, and then that's when I tried to call the police. Realized he started throwing things at me. Came behind the counter. I tried to run off, but he grabbed his hands around my neck and pushed me out of the counter space. That's when I pulled out my gun and I shot him.
Police say the suspect, 59-year-old Kenneth Thompson, ran to MacArthur Boulevard and Northwest 34th Street and called 911. Police say Dilliard is protected under Oklahoma's self-defense law, but she says 7-Eleven Human Resources fired her Monday morning for using her own gun.
Said that they were going to separate from employment because of a violation of policy.
Dilliard says she was working by herself from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. for more than 2 years. On Monday, she still had a scratch on her neck and burns on her finger from firing the pistol.
This was a situation where I felt like I was put in a corner between choosing between my job and my life. And I'm always going to choose my life because there's people that depend on me. I'm going home. You know, that's my goal. I need to be here for my kids.
Thompson was arrested at the hospital and charged with assault and battery, threatening acts of violence, trying to pass a fake bill, and a felony warrant for violating parole. Dilliard hopes this incident serves as a wake-up call so no other clerks get hurt or killed, especially women.
If I known that, you know, there's a potential where somebody could be for real in taking my life away, that I will do whatever it takes. You know, I hope that, you know, women see that and, you know, they'll do the same thing. You have the right to defend yourself.
Now, I've reached out to 7-Eleven for comment, but since news time, I've not heard back. And Dilliard says she was supposed to use, quote, store items in self-defense. Live in Oklahoma City, Rob Hagan, Fox 25.
Heard that and you saw that. First off, no job is worth your life, unless, of course, it's a job where that's a given that your life may be in danger. Firefighter, police, military. But working at 7-Eleven, you should not have to be a Navy SEAL to be there. Okay? It's a simple retail job. And this man clearly assaulted her, and she clearly defended herself. Now, I want to bring in this lawyer because he makes an interesting point.
McIntyre says Oklahoma is an at-will state and an employer can fire a worker for just about any reason as long as it doesn't violate public policy. But Oklahoma is a stand-your-ground state. You have the right to defend yourself.
Oklahoma is an at-will state when it comes to hiring of people and firing of people. What's interesting is, in this case, 7-Eleven is using Oklahoma state law to justify removing her, but they're also denying state law when it comes to self-defense, where Oklahoma is a stand-your-ground state. But they're ignoring that part of the law where she was perfectly justified in doing what she did. It's kind of interesting how they use one law to make it justify what they're doing, and they ignore another because it makes them look like assholes. But it's very, very interesting. As I said, she did what she had to do. I applaud her. This man put his hands around her throat and squeezed, and she did have marks left over from it. Right at that moment, you have every right to defend yourself. And you know what? You don't need to work at 7-Eleven if that's how they're going to treat their people. Now, this other lawyer made another good point too.
You have a no tolerance policy for weapons by an employer, and then you have an employee who was put into a dangerous situation by her employer, just like last year when 7-Eleven had an 18-year-old female employee murdered at work after 2 a.m. I guess 7-Eleven hasn't learned yet. There's right, there's wrong, and then there's stupid.
7-Eleven as a corporation, they do not want all of their employees packing heat while working all over the country. That presents a tremendous liability risk for them.
Ed Blau is a defense attorney who used to be a prosecutor. He says Dilliard will have a difficult time suing for wrongful termination.
The way 7-Eleven's policy treats this, it was her decision to work there.
Both of these guardians of the Constitution agree the case depends on one factor: if 7-Eleven is providing safety for their employees or not.
One interesting angle to this is if an employee of a convenience store, such as 7-Eleven, is injured or even killed while working, and that store did not provide either adequate safety measures or security.
This case isn't just about her at one point. It becomes about her and the next victim and the next victim and the next victim. And until somebody stands up and 7-Eleven's held accountable, they'll continue to have this policy.
There it is. Is 7-Eleven protecting its people? Clearly not, because as you heard from the story there, they had another clerk in Oklahoma who was shot and killed, 18 years old, working a 2 o'clock shift in the morning, and she was shot and killed. That is the graveyard shift at these kind of convenience stores is the most dangerous time to work. This is when the little young YNs and young engineers and future astronauts come out the woodwork. But Stephanie Dilly, she does have a GoFundMe going. And as of today, I guess it's around between $5,000 and $6,000. I'll try to find a link so you can donate if you wish to do so. It doesn't hurt her. But I think she was given a blessing to leave that job because clearly that 7-Eleven attracted some very shady characters. Guy was there passing a counterfeit bill. Then he assaulted her. But we'll keep an eye on this story and see as it develops because there's a huge backlash right now against 7-Eleven for doing this. Now, way back in the day, I used to deliver pizzas for Domino's. And we had drivers who got assaulted, threatened, all kinds of stuff. But Domino's had the same policy that you could not carry a gun. Now, you've heard stories of Domino's drivers being killed. In this case here in 7-Eleven, I think definitely she should sue 7-Eleven because, as pointed out, they are not providing her security while she's on that job in the graveyard shift. Let me know what you think. As always, you can leave your comments in the comment section below. And as always, any statements of violence or statements that lead to violence will be removed. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you're notified the next time a video goes live. I'm going to see you on the next one. Peace.